95% of the computers that I get, I can repair. No fixing this one. This one's a boat anchor.
I like how retro it looks anyway. That's neat.
Yeah.
Before I install my new awesome injector harness, that would give me time to make it to Mustang Week. Don't call Matt. Call Matt. Hello and welcome to Gearhead 704. I'm Matt, and today we've got something a little bit different for you. This is going to be more of a how-to video. I know I've done a lot of those lately, but it's not me actually doing the work. We're not working on this car. This car is had a lot of other work done to it, so if you don't know what that is, definitely check out my channel. But right now we're actually looking at Peaches today. Peaches is the blue 1990 Foxbody you see here. It's actually a former Georgia State Patrol car. That's why they call it Peaches. So if you keep hearing us talk about Peaches, that's actually this car we are referring to. And there's actually nothing wrong with Peaches. What I'm going to talk about is I'm at Fox Mustang Restoration. Come here a lot in case you don't know. Got Matt over there. He actually repairs the computers for the Fox bodies. He does all kinds of stuff. I'm going to have him tell you about it. And he's using Peaches to basically see if the computers are working or not. So use your own car, which is a Fox body, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome back to the channel, Matt. I see you got a computer there, and
yep.
I know a little bit about the service, but why don't you kind of tell them just a little bit about it, and we'll get into it here.
You know, any of the Mass Air computers, the 88 to 93 Mass Air computers, I repair them. There's a few things that I can't repair. I pulled this one out. This one had a dead short, blew a hole in the board. No fixing this one. This one's a boat anchor. Okay. So, but short of that, there's a couple pieces, a couple chips in the computer that could go bad that I can't get anymore. But for the most part, 95% of the computers that I get, I can repair. What I got Peaches out for is I always test them. I bench test them, go ahead and repair them. Once they're bench tested, I'll put them in the Peaches with a piece of original Ford equipment, diagnostic equipment. And this way, I run it in a car and I check every single circuit on the computer.
Yeah, I've seen that. That equipment's pretty cool. Well, we'll definitely show you guys that. But yeah, Peaches is a Mass Air car, so obviously it works perfectly for that.
Yeah, and I like to put them in. Not only do I bench test it, I like to put them in a car to make sure, you know, if there's anything that I missed. Right. If it runs the car perfectly, then hey, computer's working. Yeah. And you're good to go. There's a few symptoms when the computers go bad. There's one actually real common symptom to where if the car doesn't start, you turn the key to the on position, not like you're trying to crank it, but you just turn it to the on position, the actual run position, not the accessory, but the run position. Okay. If the fuel pump runs constantly, it doesn't shut off after 2 seconds, the chances are it's definitely not a fuel pump because the fuel pump's running. It's probably not the relay. Relays never get stuck open. They usually just don't work. If it's got that constant run-on problem, you got pretty much almost 100% chance it's going to be your computer. Really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea because I know when you turn it on, you hear that, and then usually it goes off. Yes. But if it keeps going, that could be a computer. Yeah. Okay. Because the computer turns on the fuel pump relay, which in turn turns on the fuel pump. So when the computers go bad, they usually get stuck in the on position. So when you turn the key on, it powers up. It's going to power up the fuel pump relay, and the computer's not working right. So the computer's not going to know to shut it off after 2 seconds. It's just stuck on. Oh, cool. So yeah, I get that call all the time. Everyone's like, oh, I've replaced my fuel pump, I've done the relay, and it's still doing it. And yeah, it sucks because a lot of people put a lot of money into parts that they may think is a problem, and then it could be something else. Right. So that's just a quick tip that if you have that fuel pump run-on problem, just go straight to the computer. Yeah. And we also have a fuel pump volume test we've done on the channel before. So if you are actually having fuel pump issues, you can check that video out. I'll throw a card as well. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you a little bit about what he uses, the EEC-IV computer. And actually, Matt's going to show you, but let me go ahead and get in Peaches, although I don't get to drive her right now, but I have driven her before. It's also another cool video. If you haven't seen that, I got my SSP top 10 facts. So I see this says EEC-IV monitor, which I know that's the computer, EEC-IV, right? Yeah, this is old diagnostic equipment. This is definitely before the snap-on scanner and all that stuff. Newer scanners, expensive scanners you can get will obviously do all this. But for the price of those can be $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. I don't need it to do every other car because I only work on Fox bodies. Right. So I went ahead and I got one of these. I actually found this new old stock and it didn't work when I got it. I had to repair quite a bit to get it to work, but now it works perfectly. I like to run the computers after I repair them, I like to run them in a car. If the car's running right, then that's a good indication that I've got it fixed. But there are a few other things that may not be right in the computer that would allow the car to seem like it's running right. So I go ahead and I hook up this EEC monitor. I like how retro it looks anyway. That's neat. Yeah, very much. And I didn't know it was called EEC. That's cool. EEC. Yeah. It's just a lot of a lot of people just say EEC. Yeah. All right. It's great. It allows me to check each individual circuit of the computer. And if you look on this little display display screen right here, it calls, you got a red strip and a blue strip, and this switch here goes between the two, and where this dial is indicating, that'll be, so I'm on the blue strip and I'm on the MAF, which is pin 50. The MAF is the mass airflow sensor, so that gives me a readout for the mass airflow sensor. Well, real nice thing about this, when you go to the mass airflow sensor, it automatically switches the voltage. But let's say I want to do injector number 8, same switch right there, I just switched to the red board. Now I'm doing injector 8. This automatically switches to milliseconds and gives me an injector readout at milliseconds.
Okay, so this switch right here actually toggles between red and blue.
Correct. And you can see you've got, on the same line, typically you'll have 2 indicators, and the blue is the pin 46 signal return, and the red is pin 15 injector number 6.
Cool. Can you still get these? I'm imagining not.
No, I got really lucky. I found this one new old stock. It wasn't working when I first got it. I had to do a little bit of work and buy some extra stuff to get it hooked up. But once I got everything and I repaired it, it works great. So what we'll do is I got a computer that I've repaired. Right here, I got it hooked up, and the nice thing, obviously, I have to be able to read, this has to be able to read what the computer's doing, so it's got a harness that goes between the computer and the connector on the car. So this way I can actually run the car while reading this diagnostic equipment.
Okay, yeah, so that's not the direct connector from the car, it's a harness in between.
Correct, yeah, and it's actually got this long ribbon lead here of wires that this one hooks to the car. Okay. And I've actually got it hooked up down here on my foot.
All right, yeah, that gives you guys a look there.
Yeah,
cool.
So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and power everything up. So you're in the driver's seat, so why don't you turn the key to the on position.
All right, I have the power. Let's see if that fuel, how's that fuel pump doing? Oh, it's done. So
yep, shut off after 2 seconds. So now I'm going to turn on the monitor. Oh, something else I forgot to mention. It has a light indicator for each circuit. If it's lit, the circuit's on. If it's off, the circuit's off. You can see we just turned the power on, so we've got power at the vehicle reference and vehicle powers with the LED light on. Now I'm going to turn the unit on, and now we have other indicators light up.
Yeah, we've got a lot more lights.
Yeah, so these are the indicators that currently have power when the ignition's on, but the car's not running. Right. So, for example, the mill right there, pin 17, that's malfunction indicator light, or the engine light, and you can see that that light's on, so the check engine light should be on in the dash.
It is, right there.
Yep. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and start the car now, and we're gonna do a readout. You can see this kind of powered up right here once I turn this unit on. So if I go over to blue, right here I am reading pin number 7, which is the electronic coolant temp sensor, and it's currently reading 2.17 volts out of the reference of 5 volts.
Okay.
And you're going to notice for all the injectors right here, as soon as that starts up, every time an injector fires, that's going to flash.
Okay, let's take a look at that. We'll start it. Luckily it's automatic. Oh yeah.
So you can see these blinking. They're kind of blinking out of sync.
I don't know if it shows up on camera, guys, but these are definitely flashing on and off right here.
There we go. Now you can see it.
Yeah.
Right there. So that's a real nice indicator, or a real nice diagnostic tool right off the bat. If you got an injector transistor that's stuck wide open, all the other ones will be flashing, but let's say injector number 6 has a stuck transistor, that light will be solid. Not only will it be solid, you're going to be running rich out the tailpipe, because that injector is going to be straight pushing fluid.
Cool, you can even use this to test your fuel injectors then, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's showing me that the injectors are receiving a signal, and that it's sending it back to the computer, and the computer is switching them on and off correctly.
Awesome.
So here's the other thing.
The flow still might not be good enough, right?
Right, that's a whole
But that electrical.
Yeah, this is the control part, or the management part, and you're talking more about the mechanical issue of it. I want to go ahead and test each circuit. So I usually will just start at the ACT, the air charge temp sensor. Got my voltage for probably a little warmer than ambient temperature.
1.79.
Yep. And I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the electronic coolant temp sensor. Car's going to warm up. That indicates that voltage is going to go down as the car warms up. You can see it started at 2.09, it's 8, now it's 7. As the car warms up, that goes down. Evaporative canister purge, showing voltage for that. And you go to the mass airflow sensor. So the mass airflow sensor right now is reading 0.998 volts at an idle. Matt, give it a little bit of gas and you're going to see that number go up.
Yep, I went up to 2.
Yep, and so what it's doing is the higher the voltage is, that's how the computer knows that there's more air coming over the mass airflow sensor. Yeah, and then this is the nice part about it. So we got voltage reading for that sensor. That's on the blue indicator, which is the MAF. I want to use the same selection position. Go to injector number 8 by switching to here, but watch this. Right now we're DC voltage. If I switch this, now it switches to milliseconds, and now it's giving me a millisecond readout, meaning that injector's staying open 6.9 milliseconds. And then I can go and check each individual injector and make sure that they're all in the same, about in the same reading.
Yeah, they're all about 6 milliseconds.
Yep. And sometimes you got to switch around to the other side here. We've got injector 7, injector 3, and the same thing. You can just check each individual circuit. You can see right here, it's telling us that the oxygen sensors are switching. This is the passenger sensor, driver's sensor, and that red and green switching back and forth, going between lean and rich. So just a really nice piece of diagnostic equipment. I can tell a lot wrong by either the way that the car is running, and plus I can make sure that a computer that I repaired is running properly on all circuits.
And in this car, you know, we've got a good computer in it, so if you see anything weird, it's not the car itself.
Yeah, this car is electronically has been completely gone over by me. It actually has all brand new original Ford NOS sensors on it. Every sensor on it's new old stock.
Yeah, and I think the way I said that, you know, it had a good computer, but no, I said that wrong. You said it right. All the sensors on the car are new, so you know it's a computer problem.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
So it's a good test vehicle, and we're gonna have essentially all new sensors in that car one day.
Yep. And what we do once we get your car running, we'll hook this up, verify everything's running correctly, and you know if there's a slight issue, it'll at least tell us what circuit to go and trace down.
Very cool. Yep. All right, guys. So like you said, he's got the right tools to do the job. We can shut Peaches off now, and if you need a computer repaired, don't call Matt. Call Matt. So I'll have all their information down in the description below. But basically, when you send your computer in, if he has to have it rebuilt, it's $225. If it turns out that everything's fine with the computer, maybe it's another problem in your car, it's just $20 for him to test it, and he sends it back to you. So that makes it really easy. Nice service there. Yeah, now you got a good computer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I didn't want to leave you guys just there with just that update about the computer stuff, which is pretty cool, by the way. So if you do need your computer fixed, definitely hit up Fox Mustang Restoration. But as you saw, we just moved the motor around as well as the SSP. The SSP is inside now. In case you missed the last video, went ahead and removed the windshield. We had some issues with the windshield. Removed all the butyl, and we're basically ready for sandblasting. I have not sandblasted the car yet, but everything is finally out of the engine compartment. So we're ready to do sandblasting and paint. We might do it the same day, but look, this thing is stripped down. Yeah, it's ready. It's ready. I'm excited. Probably one of the coolest things too is you can see the original cream color under here. I do love that. It's pretty neat, but getting that butyl out was not fun, guys. Not fun at all. But we're finally back doing something to the engine. So the engine has been on this stand forever, and one of the things I'm replacing is my injector harness. So I've got a brand new 5.0 injector harness right here that is going to go on the motor. It's going to look really good. So I'm going to go ahead, route that, highlight anything that you guys need to know, and we'll take a look at it. And then stay tuned for more stuff on the SSP. Like I said, it's getting sanded and painted, and that's happening pretty soon. Before I install my new awesome injector harness, I forgot I have not put this new electronic coolant temperature sensor in yet. So I have this brand new heater bypass tube a while back, but this is one of the sensors left out. We are putting all new sensors in, so I've got to install that real quick. All right, guys, there is our brand new wiring harness. The big thing you probably spent some time on was this guy right here. It sits in the heater tube. There's a little hole right there, and I did go ahead and wrap the tape around that, just like they would have from the factory. And this is how the harness is going to sit. Obviously, this is like for my TPS sensor, EGR. We've got our idle air control valve connector here, so these things will get connected and plugged in, but it is super clean. I think it looks really good. And I did a little bit on the motor. It's not just a update on computer videos, a little bit on the motor. Now, the big thing you're probably wondering is when the motor is going to go in the car. Well, guess what? You're not the only ones wondering. I'm kind of wondering too, but I have kind of an idea. The big thing is need to get the engine bay painted. And of course, as well, under the windshield, we have to address these rust spots. So all that's going to happen. Next thing, big for the SSP, sandblasting and painting. I am going to paint it black. Going back to black as far as the engine bay up in here. Now, eventually, we will get the black and tan, but for right now, I'm gonna run it kind of like, I guess, a patina car, although it's kind of worse than patina, but need to go ahead and address all this stuff. That is pretty much it for this video. I guess the only other thing I did want to add is, yeah, this car is taking a lot longer. Originally, I said I wanted it for Ford Takeover. Ford Takeover was last week in my time, and clearly this car is not anywhere close to being ready. I honestly don't know if it's gonna be ready by Mustang week, but I do know, what I do know is that it's gonna be a really nice car. Now, I'm doing basically like a resto mod. It's not going to be completely stock. I do want to autocross this car, like I've said before, but I'm rebuilding so much of it, guys. I mean, this wiring harness alone that I was highlighting today, this was, I think, like 300 bucks. But I don't want any problems. I want everything to work. That's why I'm replacing all the sensors. In fact, I've got to replace this oil sensor. I think this shows what my oil gauge is, or at least to the cabin. It shows me the oil pressure, but that's like the only one I haven't replaced on the motor yet. But yeah, so it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute. But you know, this is real. That's what my channel is about. And the day that I start this car up, and it's gonna be an awesome day. So we're probably, my guess is that I still have to rebuild the transmission too. Probably we're looking at maybe a couple more months before the car fires for the first time. And that could be optimistic, but I hope not. So right now it's June my time, maybe July, August, probably maybe in August. So that's pretty much it. Oh, that would give me time to make it to Mustang week, right? So that would be awesome to have this car at Mustang week. But anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. And if you need your Foxbody computer repaired, hit up Foxresto, and we'll see you next time here on Gearhead 704. Got the thumbnail, guys.